If you're looking for an update on gold, silver, and the precious metal mining stocks, you are in the right place. And how much fun are we having, guys? All this money we're making in these stocks and in the metals. Wow. Hey, seriously, it has been an absolute bloodbath lately. The last year and a half, no matter how, when, where you measure it, it has been very, very hard in this sector. You're not alone. Trust me, I am experiencing level 8 emotional pain over this right now. It is no fun to lose paper money, right? But we got to keep things in perspective. I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video. But first, we're going to get updated on the precious metals market. And I've got a couple other facts, a couple other fun facts that aren't so fun about kind of the valuations that we're dealing with right now that I find to be just a little astounding. So let's dig in and let's get started right now. And I forgot to say thank you for joining me here in the basement. I'm glad you're here. You're important. We're a group of like-minded people trying to navigate this crazy gold, silver, precious metal, mining stock market, even just the world in general. The people that are in Ron's basement with me are all very, very smart and all very, very kind. So if you like what you see here, feel welcome to come back. You can subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, hit the little bell. That way you'll be notified every time I put out a new video. Let's get back to the facts. Gold is holding steady above $1,800 per ounce. As of this filming, it was actually fighting for $1,830 per ounce. We believe that it's putting in a strong base at the $1,800 level. The floor has been raised, and that as macro conditions improve for the precious metals, gold could catapult higher from this $1,800 level. We're going to be optimistic. It could, guys, go to $1,600. Most of the mining stocks are already priced for that, but nonetheless, we're going to be optimistic. We know the macro factors, the economic, geopolitical factors supportive for gold right now, and believe that through the end of the year, we will and could see higher prices. Now, silver is fighting for $21. Man, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that it was fighting for $30 a couple times, but it's fighting to hold on to $21. It has been painful. Don't forget, just one example, there's 193,000 members of Wall Street Silver, so you're not alone. I'm not alone. We're not the only ones feeling the pain from this lower silver price. As a matter of fact, I have an astounding statistic for you. From March 8th through today, a little over 3 months, the price of silver has dropped almost 25%. And in further great news, the mining stocks continue to get pummeled. The GDXJ index of small cap gold mining stocks is at 34, 52-week low. We got 52-week lows across the board in a lot of these mining stocks. The silver mining stocks, SIL is at 28, again, close to a 52-week low. The S&P 500 is at 38.50, almost a full 1,000 points away from its recent high of 4,800. So don't forget, we're not alone. Not only gold and silver mining stocks are down, the whole market's down, bonds are down, real estate is soon to be down, everything's down. We believe that we are in a sector, the gold and silver sector, and in particular the mining sector, which could be and traditionally has been the first to rebound when conditions start to change. And what we're fighting right now essentially is a Federal Reserve that continues to slowly dial up their level of hawkish BS that they put out into the market when they've only raised rates a couple times, but nonetheless, every time they talk about how they're going to unconditionally fight inflation, which people translate as mean they will raise rates, they will tighten monetary conditions to whatever extent necessary to get inflation under control. But without going down that rabbit hole, we all know that they're actually somewhat limited in what they can do, and they are crippled by things like massive debt levels on the government side and other factors that are going to make it harder for them to do anything similar to what happened in the 1980s when Paul Volcker raised rates incredibly high to fight inflation back then. It was a different situation back then in terms of the level of debt and other macroeconomic inputs that he was dealing with. And here's another astounding fact for you. In December of 2017, not even 5 years ago, the GDXJ index was exactly where it is today, right around the $34 level. Actually, it was a little higher back then. But 5 years ago and today, the junior gold mining stock index was exactly at the same level. 5 years ago, though, the price of gold was $500 lower. Just shows you how the sentiment in the mining sector in particular is very, very bad right now. The good news, the silver lining on all that is that, from the mud grows flowers. From the crap, it's a lot easier to rise up from being on the bottom, from being really small and beat down, than it is when you're already flying high. So when it does turn, we'll get some high percentage gains because we're building from such a very, very small base. Two other news facts that have an effect on the price of gold, rather indirectly, but definitely worth mentioning. Number one, the crypto world is having another bit of a little meltdown this morning. All these crazy crypto arrangements they made amongst each other, collateralizing, it's very, very complicated on top of the complications that come when you try to understand crypto in general. This unregulated, wild, wild, wild west environment is imploding big portions of it. And, at the end of the day, you got a lot of people out there who've been educated about the advantages of real money. And at some point, they may just decide to come back to the original cryptocurrencies, silver and gold. Furthermore, it's worth mentioning that China, everybody was having a party the last few days because China was relaxing their COVID policies. Well, they reiterated just yesterday that they are still very serious about this zero COVID policy, and that kind of has the market spooked from a Chinese economic perspective. And let's just circle back to what I talked about at the beginning of the video. Hey, if you are experiencing some anxiety, some frustration, maybe some depression because of losses in the precious metals or the mining stocks, don't forget you're not alone. And don't forget to look at what you still do have. There's money, but there's family. There's a lot of other things that we all can be grateful for. I understand. I take this very, very too seriously. And I know the pain that comes from losing even just paper money. Do yourself a favor. Don't ever use leverage to invest in anything, okay? Try to stay out of debt. Try to realize that life, no matter what happens with this damn stock market and the precious metals and the precious metal mining stocks, life is short and temporary. Keep your perspective the best you can, but at the same time, also realize you're not alone. You can always come to Ron's Basement. I'll commiserate with you. But also remember that things can get better. Pendulums swing. We're in a situation right now where the sentiment for the precious metals, in particular the precious metal mining stocks, is probably as low as anyone has seen it. I heard people say that months ago, and we've been through a series of beatdowns over the last year and a half or so that have just been absolutely brutal, right? It comes back to life and gets obliterated. Comes back to life, gets obliterated. You don't need me to remind you of that. So if you're hanging in there and you're still hanging tough, which I am because I still believe in the fundamentals behind the companies that I own, try to keep things in perspective. Try not to take it all too seriously, and do the best you can to be grateful. All right, guys, thanks for joining me in the basement. I'm glad you're here. You are important. You're important as a part of this group. See, I can see you all sitting down here with me. And until next time, you be well.